Pronunciation Pro.
Pronunciation Pro.
Hello again, and welcome to the Pronunciation Pro podcast. My name is Annie Rudin, and I am the host of this podcast and the founder and leader of the Pronunciation Pro online training program. Okay, I'm really excited about our episode today because it is going to solve a huge problem for so many of you, and honestly, it's just a superpower when it comes to communication. We are going to talk about how to start conversations and keep conversations going, okay? Communication is all about connection. I say that over and over and over again in my program, and it really is true. The reason we communicate and the reason communication is so powerful is because it is a connector. It allows us to connect with other human beings, and this is good for our emotional health and happiness in life, which really is such a huge, huge and important thing in our lives. But it also is going to bring so much more success in your career, in your life. The more connection you can make with other people, the more opportunities you're going to have. So think about it in terms of connection in the workplace with your coworkers. It's not enough to be competent. It's not enough to really know your skill set and be really good at what you do. People have to like you. They have to enjoy working with you. And that communication piece, that ability to connect with other people that you work with is going to build relationships, and it's going to lead to future opportunities. Okay. That ability to communicate and connect with people is what's going to lead you to promotions through your company, or your ability to communicate is going to lead to other job opportunities in terms of being able to apply for and get jobs. The interview process is basically just a conversation with someone else, right? It's a conversation, and if you have that ability to connect with people, then you are going to have more opportunities for those job opportunities and just so many situations in life that are going to get you ahead. Okay. But the problem is, so many of us say, well, I just don't know what to talk about. So you're kind of sitting, on the outside. You're outside of the conversation. You're not engaged in the conversation. And the question is, how do we get more engaged in the conversation? There's so many advantages to this. Engaging in the conversation is not only going to bring you connection with other people, but it's going to help you build your communication skills. It's going to help you practice your English so that you get better and better at it, and so that you can continue to progress in that area of your life. But I have a secret for you. The superpower that is needed for conversational skills is actually the superpower that you already have. Okay? So let me explain a little bit more about that. So conversation, the foundation of every good conversationalist, someone who is good at having conversation, and we're talking about just being able to walk up to anybody and to be able to easily talk to anyone. Wouldn't that be amazing? To feel confident, to feel that you're going to walk away with that connection. It's a superpower. Okay, you already have this skill that is required for this superpower. Okay, and that skill is curiosity. Curiosity is the foundation of any conversation, any good conversation. Okay, so the definition of curiosity is the desire to learn, know, and understand something new. It involves a strong interest in exploring ideas, asking questions, and seeking information to satisfy one's natural sense of wonder. Okay? If I know anything about you, it's that you have a desire to learn, know, and understand something new. You wouldn't be listening to this if you weren't curious, if you didn't have that desire to learn, know, and understand something new. You wouldn't have learned English if that wasn't a core characteristic of your personality. Okay? It involves a strong interest in exploring ideas, asking questions, and seeking information to satisfy one's natural sense of wonder. Conversation is simply curiosity and the skill of being able to then draw that information that you're seeking from another person. Okay. So in conversation, curiosity is expressed as a genuine interest in others. Okay. So it's forgetting about yourself and being genuinely interested in the other person. You're interested in their experiences, their thoughts, and their feelings. Okay. It drives a person to ask very thoughtful questions and to listen actively and to engage deeply to discover more about that person and to connect. So thinking of conversation is just thinking about being more curious and saying, okay, I am curious about this person. I'm curious about this situation. I'm curious to learn more. And that person that I want to talk to is the gateway or the door that unlocks new information, new insight, new ideas, new thoughts, new feelings. Okay? So, kind of on a broader level, curiosity fuels personal growth. It fuels kind of innovation and discovery because it's exploring something that's not already known to you. So going from, I truly believe that situation where you're dreading conversations, you can flip that so easily. So if you're kind of on the outside of conversation and you're dreading going into conversations, I guarantee that focus on curiosity and some of the skills that I'm going to share with you today is going to flip that dreaded kind of that feeling of dread or fear of engaging in conversation will lead you to be more open and eager to talk to other people. Hey, wouldn't that be amazing to go from that dreaded, I don't want to talk to these people, or I don't want to go to this event because then I'll have to have conversation and I'll probably mess up and me. Okay. There's such a focus on yourself and what you're going to look like or how you're going to be embarrassed or what you're going to feel instead of going in with this curiosity to say, I'm going to learn something new. I'm going to get to practice my English. And through that practice, I am going to, practicing conversation skills, practicing asking questions, practicing active listening. I am going to be able to learn more and grow, which is foundational to who you are. So really having that identity of I am a lifelong learner. I love to grow and learn and improve. Hey, my guess is that is a core value of yours. It's a core characteristic of who you are. So going from that identity and saying, I love to learn, I love to grow, I love to, explore, I am a curious person, will lead you and create that foundation for you and the mindset, because you're shifting it from me thinking about yourself to I'm thinking about someone else and I'm going to learn something from these other people that's going to help me grow. So the only focus on me is, on yourself is this is something that's going to help me grow and improve. But by doing so, I get to be just curious and I get to learn and grow. So again, that definition, curiosity is the desire to learn, know, or understand something new. It involves a strong interest in exploring ideas, asking questions, and seeking information to satisfy one's natural sense of wonder. Okay, you have a natural sense of wonder. You have a natural sense of just like exploring and understanding. Okay, this is such a core part of who you are. So let's kind of talk about, well, okay, I'm curious, but exactly how do I engage in this? Curiosity, when you're coming from a place of curiosity, it shows a genuine interest in others. People can sense your authenticity. Okay, you naturally, when you go in with curiosity, you naturally want to learn more about the person that you're talking to. And it creates this like warm and engaging environment or atmosphere in the conversation. It makes the other person feel very valued. Okay, people are drawn to those people, those kind of people that make them feel heard and understood. Okay, so that genuine interest in other people is going to help you. So that's kind of one area that curiosity is going to help you. The second area is it helps you ask better questions. Curiosity really drives you to go beyond the surface level small talk, which you kind of have to start with small talk, but you can really dive a lot deeper when you ask better questions. Okay, so instead of what do you do, asking someone what you do, like what do you do for work, a curious person might ask, what inspired you to get into the work that you're into? Okay, so it could start with, what do you do for work? Oh, okay. What inspired you to get into that field? Or what's the most exciting part of your job? So these kind of questions lead to kind of richer, more meaningful conversations because they're diving into more of who that person is. Okay, what inspired you to get into this field of work really gets down to like what are they passionate about? What really led them to this place of discovery to do what they're doing now? Everybody has a story. Everybody has their path, and getting curious about that person's path and being able to have a question like this, what inspired you to get into this field is really powerful. Or what's the most exciting part of your job? Okay, it gets more into like that feeling, the emotion. When we connect with the emotion rather just the facts, that's a really powerful way of creating that connection. Okay, the third way that curiosity really helps the conversation is that it keeps conversation flowing. So when you have a curious mindset, you're always looking for the next topic to explore. So if someone mentions that they recently started a new hobby, your curiosity can lead you to say, what made you decide to try that? Okay, so they're talking about the hobby, it's the fact, but now we want to get into like about them. It's a question about them. What made you decide to try that? Why did you get into that? What interested you to get into that hobby? Or what do you enjoy most about it? Kind of like that question about your job. What's the most exciting part of your job? It's what do you enjoy most about this hobby? It keeps that dynamic of exploring more, and you're looking for that next topic to explore more, will get you into a deeper conversation, and it keeps the conversation going. So one thing that a lot of our students have a hard time with is that possibly it's hard to kind of keep up with what they're saying, or there may be some parts of what they're saying that's like, I didn't catch that, or I don't know that vocab word, or I'm not sure if this is what you're saying. So repeating back and saying, I might misunderstand this, so help me understand, is this what you're saying? Is this what you're describing? Or am I right in that this is what you're saying? Kind of paraphrasing what they're saying not only helps your comprehension, but it helps them feel like you're really listening. All right. And you might get it wrong, and there might be some kind of like correction there, but that's engaging conversation that keeps the flow going. So instead of pretending like, oh, I understood everything that you were saying, and being unauthentic or inauthentic, I guess is the correct term. Instead of being inauthentic and pretending like you understood what was going on, being able to step back and say, now, is this what you were saying? Or I don't understand that as well. Can you describe that a little bit more? Or can you tell me what that means? That continues the flow really well. Okay. And it makes them feel heard and that they're being listened to, they're being heard and understood, but also that when someone is able to help in some way, help you understand or help you kind of guide the conversation or help you understand the conversation more, they're more invested, right? People like to help other people for the most part. There are going to be kind of some people who are impatient and unkind, but we can weed those out pretty fast. Those kind of people don't deserve your conversation. They don't deserve your time and energy because they're not interested in that connection. But when you find somebody who is interested in that connection and wants that mutual connection, right? Then really work on diving deeper and exploring that and understanding more and more and asking for clarification, right? Okay. And all of this, it builds connection. Curiosity makes it easier to find common ground because you're actively kind of seeking those points of connection. The more you understand about someone, the more you can say, "Oh, I like that too," or I enjoy that hobby as well. So, for example, when you ask an open-ended question about someone's experiences or interests, like I was saying, you might discover, hey, wait, we have the same goals or we have the same values. Just even talking about, oh, your family, you got together with your family for these holidays. Like I love getting together with my family for holidays, and I have a big family. How about you? And there's kind of, you find more common ground and points of connection are made there. When you find kind of like common pieces or things that you have in common, that creates really strong connection. Okay, so we want to be searching for that. It's that curiosity of learning about that person and finding those connection points. Okay, when you connect on a hobby or a value or something you find funny or interesting, that is a point to then you find that connection and then you go deeper with that in that connection. Another reason curiosity helps in these situations is because it reduces the pressure on you. Focusing on being curious takes the spotlight off of you, right? Just like I was saying, you go into the conversation not, how am I going to look in this situation? Are they going to judge me? What is it going to say about me? It's really not about you. Instead of worrying about what to say next and how you're coming across, curiosity lets you relax and focus on the other person. And this is something that I know well from my students is that they, not only are you curious, but you do so much better when you're focused on the other person. Okay, this makes conversation feel more natural and enjoyable for both people. Asking open-ended questions, really finding those connection points, and then continuing to explore and keeping the conversation going by asking follow-up questions about those things or asking for clarification about the things that they're talking about so that you truly understand. So ways to cultivate this curiosity in conversation, you want to be present. Pay attention to what the other person is saying instead of planning your response or getting it in your head of like, oh, what am I going to do next? Or what I'm going to say next? Be as present as possible. Really pay attention to what they're saying. And the response or the next question will come after that. Don't stress too much about what am I going to say next. It's just be present in that conversation, make sure that you understand. And then there's follow-up questions to make sure, to even dive deeper. Okay. Ask open-ended questions. We've talked about this, inviting the person to share more about themselves and be open to learning. Okay. Treat every conversation as an opportunity to discover something new. These are such important pieces to curiosity. So as a review, curiosity is the foundation to any really good conversation. I can feel it when I go into conversations with people and I know that it's just going to be all about them the whole time and there's no interest in me whatsoever. I changed my mindset and I'm always like, okay, this is not about me. This is about the other person. You can kind of be driving or controlling that conversation. Okay? Being in the driver's seat, and that's where I want you, is being in that driver's seat, you can lead the conversation. But being open to, if they're going to ask you questions, we don't want to fear that either, right? It's like, oh, this is an opportunity for me to practice. Okay? That's the mindset shift that we have to have. Okay, don't be afraid. We don't want to be afraid of what they're going to ask us and if we're going to be able to explain ourselves or not, right? We're just going to practice. It's a great opportunity for growth and practice. But going in and saying, I am going to, instead of being on the outsides or dreading this conversation, I'm going to be eager to jump into this conversation because I am a curious person. So this is kind of the self-talk that I want you to go through as you're gearing up to go to a party or go to a holiday event, or a work party, or to even walk up to somebody at work or even on, Zoom calls as they're getting the meeting started. Small talk, kind of that small talk is really good. It really is connecting, sharing a story about something that's happened recently to you. That creates a lot of connection as well. These are kind of some of the pieces. We're going to dive a lot deeper into the leadership communication masterclass and training that I'll be doing at the beginning of 2025. Because these are the skills that really are leadership skills. Okay. When you can really engage in the conversation, kind of help guide the conversation, whether the other person knows it or not, these are leadership skills. Okay. So this is what you're learning at this point. Okay. So as a review, curiosity is the most important trait of being a good conversationalist. And you have this superpower. Being curious shows genuine interest in others, which makes it authentic. It helps you ask better questions because it helps you go beyond just surface level questions and you're asking about who that person is. Okay, you're curious about who that person is. Number 3, it keeps the conversation flowing. Okay, so when you're present, like we were talking about, being present and then being able to ask those follow-up questions or add in your own experience to it that deepens the conversation and deepens that connection. Okay, number 4, curiosity helps build connections. So when you're curious, you're going to be able to find those common grounds and those points of connection. And number 5, it reduces the pressure on you. So instead of being focused on yourself, focus on the other person. Okay. Being present doesn't mean worrying about how you're going to respond or how you're going to put the sentence together grammatically. Okay. Be present with the question. Make sure you understand it. And then we can work on, how to formulate the sentences afterwards. And if that takes a little bit of time, that's okay. It's all practice, right? Nothing has gone wrong here. You are exactly where you need to be right now in your English language journey. And that is the truth. But know that you have a superpower. You wouldn't be here listening to this if you did not have the superpower of good conversationalists. And that is curiosity. And I am so excited for you to go into the next conversation that you have with curiosity and applying these concepts of practicing asking questions and engaging in a way that can take those conversations deeper and longer. A lot of my students will talk about, I just don't know how to keep a conversation going. These tools will help you keep that conversation going. And it's all about being more curious. Practice curiosity this week. Really, really dive into that. Find different ways to engage with people, engage in those conversations that in places that you typically wouldn't. Okay. Find more situations where you can engage in that conversation. That is my challenge to you. All right. Get to work. You're doing great work. I'm really proud of you. And if you want to deepen that work, please come into the Pronunciation Pro program. We are wanting to be there with you, to practice with you, to help you. And if you're ready in 2025 and this new year to really deepen that learning, make sure you're on my mailing list. Go to pronunciationpro.com and we have a free download, the 3 easy tips. And go take a look at that and get on our mailing list so that you know what's coming up here in 2025. Okay. All right. Have a good day. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Pronunciation Pro.
Pronunciation Pro.